Dear friends, dear comrades, isn't it amazing? We are in the end of a 2-day journey filled with debates, exhibitions, films, plenary sessions, workshops, and you're still here and you still have the energy. I can feel it, I can see it. And it is not by chance, because this convention, which we had in the last 2 days, is about two things. Dialogue, because the Party of European Socialists wants to have a dialogue with the civil society, with the NGOs, with the trade unions, with different associations and movements, because we can listen. We may disagree within the PS on one or another issue, with the civil actors, but we want to work together. And the second thing, it is confidence, because you have to trust each other in order to have common goals and common actions. I would like, first of all, to thank all of you. I thank you for the commitment in the last 2 days. It is really inspiring. I want to thank you for your energy, for your drive, for your enthusiasm. The debates, the vision, and the concrete proposals we shall take forward, we shall take on board and develop in the future months. I want to thank you also from a personal perspective. Thank you so much for your messages of support, confidence to me, which are really inspiring and really humbling at the same time. Thank you so much for the kind words, and mostly important, for your pledges to work together in the next 10 months. No one can achieve our goals on his own. We can only do it together, with common belief and common efforts. I would like to thank my own family for their support and pledge of support, which I will need in the job ahead. We all have the socialist ideas under our skin, in our DNA, and sometimes almost literally. Because take my daughter, Daria, who was born this year. What did she decide to do when she appeared to this world? And it was her decision. She was born on the 1st of May. It's destiny. It's just destiny, and I will keep you updated on Daria's progress. Of course, I will tell you how she will be growing like a little and then bigger socialist. Of course, I can only dream that she will be as popular as Paul's grandson Lucas. And I would like to give special thanks to Philippe Cordery, our Secretary General, our rock of dependability. I would like to thank Martin Schulz for his passionate speech, but not only for this, because he will be the progressive face of the European Parliament from January next year. And I believe that you, Martin, will provide a real political leadership for the European Parliament, which is now one of the most important institutions for the PS. I would like to thank also Rory Quinn. Already he has shown his passionate attitude in everything what concerns PS as a treasurer of our party. Now in his role as presidency chair, he will use his great experience, skill, and his constant good humor to ensure constant progress to our party. And lastly, to Paul Nero. We met in 2004 for the first time. And since then, from the very start, dear Paul, you invested your time, your knowledge, your experience in me personally, and I'm personally very grateful to you for this. I remember in 2005, before our general elections, we had a conversation, and I was taking your advices of how to form a government, how to govern a country. I was very young and green in many ways, and I was always learning, and I still learn from you. Paul has built this party up to what it is today, and we all know this perfectly well. Because now PS is much stronger as a European party than it used to be in 2004. Thank you for this. Among successful politicians, there are politicians with visions, there are politicians with human touch. Paul has both, and this is a real natural gift. Because look at his vision, which Paul developed in the last years. Look at our declaration of principles. Isn't it crystal clear where we stand and what we fight for? It is. Look at the attitude and his passionate attitude to come out with a common candidate for the European elections, and this is extremely important for all of us. Let's look at the PS. I think we can all agree that you, Paul, used your talents indeed to renovate PS fundamentally, and this is very important for us. The benchmark which you are leaving me is very high, and I will have to work extremely hard in order to get even close to this benchmark. But thankfully, I don't take roles formally. I don't take it for ceremony. And I can assure you that I will do everything what I can, and I will work from the bottom of my heart for our cause to make PS stronger in the next year. Dear friends, here among ourselves we feel strong and invigorated. But let's look at the realities. We have seen better times for our movement. We are in opposition in most of the countries of the European Union. The right wing is predominating in governments, in the European Parliament, in the European Council. And this is a problem. But I will tell you, the nature of our movement is optimistic. And always when we fall, we rise, because we analyze our weaknesses. We look for new ideas, and we have the strength to stand up for our principles. This autumn we had a presidential campaign in my country. And we announced our vice president in September. I want to tell you how it happened. We had different, very serious professional politicians as candidates. And at one very particular moment, I received a letter from one of the most famous Bulgarian actors, who was also a minister of culture in my government, saying, "We are facing a very strong opponent, a very ambitious, very brutal, who is confident that they will win. Our party is not in an easy situation." But he was saying in his letter that if after being defeated, someone who cannot rise stands in the position he was, then he is dead. We are not dead, we are stronger, we have ambitions, and I see here a convention full of people with ideas and full of people who are ready to work hard. Yesterday, Paul talked about how his political awakening occurred when he was a 14 years old boy. And it was very touching. Each one of us, members of social democratic parties, has come to our values, our ideas, on her or his own way. But we are together, and we shall continue our struggle. Honestly, I couldn't dream 10 years ago that a Bulgarian could become a president of the Party of European Socialists. We were so far away. And I want to tell you that personally I'm deeply touched. It's a great honor for me. It's a great honor for my party. It's also a huge obligation. Huge obligation. But I also consider it as a big political signal. Selecting a person from a country from Central and Eastern Europe is a signal speaking to millions of people around Europe. It says that we are based on equality. It says that we don't accept different levels of membership in the European Union. We don't accept Europe, which is divided into speeds, circles, and finally this approach ends with two persons, the Chancellor of Germany and the President of France, imposing their decisions on the whole European Union with 450 million people. This is unacceptable. For us, European socialists, all people are equal, regardless of their social standing, regardless of their economic background, regardless of their orientations. They are equal and they should have equal chances and equal responsibilities. This is our understanding of modern Europe. And I believe that in Eastern Europe now we need this very positive message. Because look at what is happening to democracy in many of the countries of Central and Eastern Europe. I couldn't imagine that 20 years after the start of democratic changes in the countries of Central Europe, there will be such phenomenon as we are witnessing in Hungary, where Orban wants literally to abandon and to ban the Socialist Party. I couldn't imagine that in Bulgaria we shall have such an unfair and undemocratic elections for president and for local authorities. I couldn't imagine that after membership in the European Union in Romania, also political and human rights will be threatened. On democratic standards, the EPP seems to be turning a blind eye, just as they have been turning a blind eye to the damage that market speculators are doing to democracies and to average people all around the world. Yesterday we all listened to Boris Tadic, the President of Serbia, and he said that there is a very simple choice in Europe. Do we have markets controlling democracy or democracy controlling markets? It's about choices, and they're possible. Our way is in stark, vivid contrast to the weaknesses of the conservative politicians in the face of the market. And these are not just simple words. All recent years, under the guidance of Paul, we have elaborated very thoroughly our alternatives. Our proposal for the financial transaction tax, which is economically important and which is just. Our proposal on the regulation of credit rating agencies, because we don't accept their approach, which is irresponsible and ruining countries and human lives. We have elaborated our proposal on the need for a stronger role for the ECB and discussing now the issue of the Eurobonds, because this is our socialist initiative which is practically possible to be applied. Some people will say, how can we implement all these ideas? Life urgently needs them to be implemented in order to save the European Union, in order to provide not only fiscal stability, but also economic growth, jobs, and future for the people. What is the most important thing for us? That we have you on our side. We have the voice of the people, and that is always the best voice of reason. Because in our convention, we are delivering a very simple message towards the citizens of Europe, towards everyone who listens to us. For 2 years now, only austerity is in the focus of the policies of the right-wing governments and the European Union. We don't accept it. It's not working because unemployment increased, the financial crisis became deeper, and the real economy is going into recession. And this is not the way Europe can come out from this crisis. And the key word for us in order to implement our alternative on a national and European level is engagement. Engagement with foundations, with organizations, charities, NGOs, trade unions, everyone who understands that Europe is in wrong hands and going in the wrong direction. We had in these 2 days 4 major themes: a fair economy, equal societies, a just world, active democracy. Under these themes, we will use our declarations of principles as the cement to build our new European structure. All of you here, more than 2,000 participants in our convention, will go back to your places, to your homes, and will bring these ideas all over Europe, in your parties and in your societies. Then we will start to build, brick by brick, our fundamental program. This is where we will see the return of our investment into this dialogue and in our engagement. In 2.5 years, we will go to the European elections with a manifesto that is the result of 3 years' genuine engagement. And we shall be led by a candidate for the post of the President of the European Commission. And this will make a big difference from 2009. It's time for this change, indeed. Dear friends, we only have 10 months until our PS Congress in Romania. Yesterday, Paul and myself attended the PS Activists Forum, and there was a promise made by the PS activists. They said that by the Congress we would have 25,000 PS activists. It's quite a challenge, but I have one prediction. There will be a boom of PS activists in 2 particular countries. Bulgaria, guess why? And Romania, the country which will be hosting our Congress. We have 10 months to convert the energy of the last 2 days into a fuel for tomorrow. Converting this energy will be easy because we have the best kind of fuel. It comes from a precious resource. it's you, all of you, and all the members of our parties. Thank you for the effort which you made in these 2 days, because the people of Europe are waiting. They're waiting for an alternative. They will find an alternative. If we don't provide them with one, they will find another. But I have the deep conviction that we can do it, because people can't wait too long, and this is our responsibility as a political family. And the major challenge is in elections. This is why next year we have to do everything possible and to make all efforts to win the presidential elections in France for François Hollande. Then Italy, then Germany, and in 2014, Europe. Together, we will put Europeans back in the driving seat of Europe's future. We can do it. We can change Europe for better. Thank you again, and see you all in Romania.